Okay, I am about to change your life when it comes to talking about being an influencer, being a content creator, growing on social media. And I know it sounds dramatic that I'm going to change your life today, but let me tell you, the concept and the idea of the different way you should approach social media if you want to be a content creator versus if you want to be an influencer, and what the difference actually is, will actually change your life. The reason I know this is because I always talk about 2023. Like back in 2023, that's when everything changed for me. That's when my following on TikTok went from like 3,000 followers to 100,000 followers. When I started making the most money I've ever made from social media in my life, I actually do think it mostly comes down to this one mental switch for me. This is one of those topics that people might think is actually delusional. Like, what even are you talking about? The difference between being a content creator and influencer, those are the same thing. But at the busy blooming office, at work, they're not the same thing. And this is something I've never seen anybody talk about, which I get why. Regardless of if you do want to be more of a lifestyle influencer, a fashion creator, a podcaster, maybe you're more of a personal brand of an entrepreneur, like this differentiation is so important. I think it's one of the biggest misses when it comes to content creation advice, because there is so much advice out there. I'm sure you have seen it all. People tell you to solve problems on social media and create your content all about the audience, but then also you're supposed to share your life, but then your vlog doesn't solve any problems. And it's just, there's a lot. The reason why so many of us, myself included, feel lost, confused, overwhelmed, can't grow is because we have not decided if we want to be a content creator or an influencer, or you are posting like one when you actually deep down want to be the other. So we're going to get into it, and I'm so excited. Also, if you're new, by the way, welcome to work. Welcome to Busy Blooming. You are officially on the clock. You've clocked in. The timesheet's going. Send me an invoice after this. Like, you are working right now. Busy Blooming is your digital office for content creation and social media. We are from all different walks of life in the world of social and content. Some of us are freelancers. We are also content creators, influencers, podcasters. We are an office of people who create content on social media, and we would love to have you. If you were new, feel free to subscribe. Subscribing to the Busy Blooming YouTube channel is kind of like claiming your desk. And then if you're new, introduce yourself below, and all of us will welcome you. It's the nicest, kindest coworkers over here. And every Monday we clock in and we go to work and we unpack all things content creation, influencer marketing, social media. And also every single episode, including this one, I will give you content ideas to fill up your content calendar every single week based on what's trending, also unique ideas, of course. So we have a lot of work to do together today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so when it comes to creating content on social media, something we talk about all the time over here is the importance of having a signature brand as a creator. But how do you actually create your signature brand and stand out on social media? Well, let me tell you, my favorite way to do this is by using storyblogs. I use storyblogs every single week. When you watch the after hours of the show and the confetti that pops up, it's from storyblogs. The mouse clicking, the typing. Those are signature elements that I have pegged for my brand, and using storyblogs is one of the most effective ways to build your signature brand as a content creator, which is so important, but also increase retention, because little things like visuals, green screen, sound effects, music can really help people stay watching. Storyblogs is a stock media subscription service offering unlimited access to high quality stock videos, images, music, sound effects, and more. What I love so much about storyblogs is that they have an unlimited model. So there's one predictable subscription cost, and then you had access to all of their libraries of video, green screen, sound effects, actually everything you need to create your signature brand. And it's just so fun. So for example, you could go into storyblogs, pick specific songs you always want to use, sound effects you always want to use. You can search by color, so you could always have a blue texture background to put your text on between different points making your videos. You could have signature green screen overlays like confetti or sparkles, or signature like typing sounds when you're talking about something. It is a library of everything you need to build your signature brand as a creator and really stand out. Whether you're creating short form content, long form content, if you're doing vlogs, you want to have a signature drone footage that always goes between the different vlog clips. They have the best green screens. You could get a little laptop green screen and always use that for the intro of your vlogs. And what's so cool about it as well is you never have to worry about copyright or legal rights, because everything on storyblogs is 100% royalty free in perpetuity. If you want to elevate your content, streamline your workflow, and build your signature brand on social media, go check out storyblogs. They are essential for elevating your content. It's so fun to use. It really helps you take the ideas you have in your head and actually make them come to life. So to get started at unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, click the link in the description, or check out storyblogs/Tess Barclay. I'm a huge fan of them. I use them every single week. And thank you so much to Storyblogs for sponsoring today's video. And let's clock in and go to work together today. Okay. So, the difference between being a content creator and being an influencer. The busy, blooming office definition of the two. The best way I can describe it is that as a content creator, the spotlight is on the audience, and as an influencer, the spotlight is on the creator, but the topics are the same. Regardless of what you want to do on social media, nothing you ever do, in my opinion, if you want to grow and have a good growth content strategy, should be random. You should always have cohesive topics, content pillars, a cohesive brand. Your content should all make sense together. But regardless of if you want to talk about fashion, beauty, lifestyle, which we'll talk about, content creation, social media, your 9-to-5 life, fitness, whatever you want to talk about, confidence, mindset, you need to make a second decision. Not just what you want to talk about, but when you talk about whatever that is, you need to decide, do you want the spotlight to be on you, or do you want the spotlight to be on the audience? Let me break down a few examples. For example, let's say you really want to talk about fashion. If you want to be a fashion influencer, your video on TikTok would be an outfit of the day, what you are wearing that day. The spotlight is on you. But if you want to be more of a content creator, you would make a video about what you're going to wear if you have a $500 budget. The spotlight is on the audience, but the topic is the same. Let's talk about beauty. You want to talk about the new Rhode skincare launch, which we love. If you're an influencer, the spotlight's on you. You're using all the new Rhode skincare, doing a get ready with me, talking about your life, but you're using the skincare and kind of chatting about it, but you're doing a skincare routine, get ready with me, about what you're doing that day. The spotlight's on you, you're an influencer. But if you want to be a content creator, you would do a video breaking down all the new Rhode skincare, how to use it, the ingredients, who it's for. The spotlight is on the audience. So I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. And when it comes to social media advice, you have probably heard me say things like, your content needs to not be about you. You need to solve problems. You need to think about your Instagram like a storefront, and your storefront is not about you. Which, if you're somebody who wants to be more of an influencer and have the spotlight on you, that advice can be really confusing. Because let's say you do an outfit of the day, you're not really solving problems. You think about Alex Earl, who's doing a get ready with me. She's not really making that video to go out and solve some problems for her audience. But that does not mean that being an influencer or content is not for your audience. It's just not about your audience. At the core of everyone who posts on social media, your content should always be for your audience, but the difference is who it's about. Let me break this down from a personal example, because this might be making no sense, which it will in a second. So for me, let's go back to 2023. I have been posting on social media for a couple of years. I was working in marketing. You guys know I'm an ex-corporate marketing girly. Up until that point, I had been posting on social media for a couple of years, TikTok, YouTube, and I was really approaching it like an influencer. So I would post kind of a day in my life working in marketing. I would show the behind the scenes of how I'm growing my social media, how much money I'm making on YouTube AdSense, still talking about social media and marketing and content, but it was all kind of on me. The spotlight was on me, my journey, what I was doing, how much money I was making, what I was trying. And I found that so hard. I always had a resistance point of sharing all of these things I'm trying, because as a marketing person, I felt like I had so much perspective and advice and strategy to give, but I didn't even have that idea in my head. But when I made this switch to actually making the spotlight on you and talking about how you can grow on social media, telling people about influencer marketing, content ideas, all these different things, that's when everything exploded for me. Because for me, that is so much easier. I was kind of forcing myself into this influencer box. Again, still talking about the exact same topics, but the focus, the spotlight was on me, and I thrive when the spotlight is on you. It just is. And not to say that I'm this selfless person and being an influencer is so selfish, and I'm just I can't be like that. But as you guys know, I have met with 600 plus content creators. I don't do coaching anymore, but I used to coach creators back in the day. I have done field research on every follower account, every type of creator all over the world. This is a core problem for people, is they're slotting themselves in to either try to force themselves to make the spotlight on the audience, or forcing themselves to give tips, to give advice, when at the end of the day, it's so much more natural for them, and what they really want to do is talk about them. If they want to talk about mindset and confidence, it is so much easier for them to talk about their journey, what they're doing, rather than say, here's what you should do. It's you versus I. And what you really need to think about is not what you want to talk about, but think about who do you want the spotlight to be on? Not to say you can't do both, because you can, but primarily, which one do you want it to be on more? This is a core root, I think, of a lot of resistance when it comes to social media, because you are forcing yourself to do one or the other. And this is such a common thing of you force yourself to give tips and give advice and all this stuff because you listen to people like me, where I actually do usually talk to content creators. The advice I give most of the time is on Busy Blooming in the past has been to people who create outward focused content. But the strategy to be an influencer is actually quite different. So I'm going to break down the difference between, regardless of what you want to do, because again, being an influencer isn't selfish, it isn't bad, it's amazing. If you want to show your outfits, talk about your skincare or your life, let's do that then. So let's assume you have your topic, skincare, fashion, confidence, fitness, whatever. The main goal of your content, if you were an influencer, the spotlight is on you with these topics, is that the goal of your content is to emote, not to solve. The goal of your content is to be aspirational, to inspire, to emote relatability or comfort. As a content creator, the goal of your content is to solve, to educate, to teach, to inform. This is the biggest difference. I always say that technically I do think you're solving problems by being inspirational, relatable, comfort creator. The influencers, I do still think solves problems. But another way to think about it too is your mission as an influencer isn't told, it's implied, it's shown. Let's take Acquired Style, who we always talk about. She is a blueprint lifestyle influencer. She does her morning routine. She shows her workout classes, her meals, a bunch of different pillars of her lifestyle. She doesn't tell you her mission. Her mission is implied. She doesn't say, hi, I'm Acquired Style. I'm on a mission to help you romanticize your life. Her mission is implied. As a content creator, your mission is told. I tell you all the time, I'm here to help you grow on social media without burning out. I'm here to help you embrace the cringe, turn content into your business. So as an influencer, you're going to approach social media differently. Again, the topics are the same. You still want to pick clear topics, have a clear brand, have signature elements that make you stand out, signature templates that you create with. You still have a personal brand as a creator as well, but you're not trying to teach and solve and give tips like a content creator. The spotlight's not on the audience, the spotlight's on you to help emote for your audience. Think of like Zoella. She's such a comfort creator. She's a lifestyle comfort creator, more of an influencer. She's not giving you tips or advice. She's talking about motherhood, homemaking, decor, all of that, versus somebody who talks about the exact same topics but has a spotlight in the audience and says, here's motherhood tips, here's how to decorate for Thanksgiving, here's how to make this recipe. I really hope this is making sense, but it's really thinking about, okay, you have the topics, you have the brand, you know what you want to talk about. Now, who is the spotlight going to be on? Let's quickly chat for a second about lifestyle content creators and influencers. The phrase lifestyle to me makes no sense. I think it's one of those overused, kind of outdated phrases. I think where lifestyle influencers really came from is because back in the day, there was really niche down content creators and influencers or lifestyle. There was really two buckets. You talk about one topic or you're a lifestyle creator. We talk about a bunch. To me, lifestyle content creators and influencers is just picking areas of your life, whether it's your home, your routines, your daily life, working a 9-to-5 job. So it's kind of like career, home, beauty, habits. Like it's picking different elements of your life. So for me, it's still picking certain topics. But even if you're somebody who wants to create about lifestyle, you still can choose between being a creator or an influencer with lifestyle content. For example, let's say you have a 9-to-5 job and you want to talk about your 9-to-5 life. Influencer version of that, you make a TikTok of a day in your life. You go through timestamp day in your life at your 9-to-5 job, being 27, working in New York City, you work in PR. And you just take people through what you're wearing, what you're eating, what you're doing. It's all about you. The spotlight's on you. But a flip side to that is the exact same topic, your 9-to-5 life as a 27-year-old in New York, but you're a content creator. So you have the exact same vlog, but the voiceover is advice or tip for other people who want to do what you're doing. The spotlight is on them. It's not really on you. That's kind of a nice middle ground. So again, being an influencer isn't this selfish, self-obsessed thing. It's just that the spotlight is on you and your goal is to help people emote. Your goal is to not solve problems. You're trying to inspire instead of teach. You're trying to relate instead of educate. Let me just say, there is a caveat to this. Yes, there are the creators that post random content and do grow on social media. Those people do exist. Eli Rallo, for example, one of my favorites. Mickey, one of my favorites. They post content genuinely about whatever they want. I love what they create. I follow them because I just like their personalities. That is possible. Is that the best option for growth? No. Is it impossible to grow that way? Also no. But what I'm talking about here is more of a strategy of picking specific topics, having a cohesive brand, all of that. But there is like this small percentage of people who, sure, you can just post random stuff if you want to. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. So regardless of what topic you want to talk about, thinking about who do you want the spotlight to be on, and also think about, do you find one easier than the other? Because again, like I shared, for me, I find this so much easier. It just flows. As soon as I made the switch, I was so much easier to be consistent for me because I could post all the time. I had endless ideas. But even now, years later, if I had to sit down and do a vlog every single day of my life, I would not be consistent. I don't find that like super easy to show all the time. But there are creators who post the exact same content topics I do. They talk about social media, they talk about content, but it's more the spotlight's on them. Justine's camera roll is a great example. She posts about her journey of sending out emails, going on brand trips, the behind the scenes, but she also has a mix of giving tips and advice as well. So you can definitely do both, but I think having a primary focus is so much easier. Another way to think about this too, when it comes to sharing your personal life as well, this is another big like mindset switch for me, was you do not have to share things about you personally to connect with people online. Like I used to share tons of personal stuff about me. My husband, when I got engaged, my wedding planning, my family, like I would share a lot about my personal life. I don't share about that stuff at all anymore. But you don't have to. Even if you want to be an influencer and you want the focus to be on you, you don't have to connect with people just through your personal life and personal things about you. You connect with them through your personality, which is another really big differentiation. I think people think, okay, well, I'm an influencer, so I'm going to like just share everything about my personal life. You don't have to do that. Anyways, that is my definition, the busy blooming dictionary of social media of a content creator versus an influencer. It is an execution approach. It's who the spotlight is on. There are still clear topics, content pillars, branding, strategy, but you just have to decide, is the spotlight on me or is the spotlight on the viewer? Is my goal with my content to emote inspiration, relatability, aspiration, comfort, or is my goal with my content to educate and give tips? And which comes easier to you as well? Think about it. This made the biggest difference for me, and I hope this made sense and didn't sound like actual delusion. And so a little action item for the week. Think about, okay, what is the goal of my content? Who's the spotlight going to be on? And I hope this helps you think about maybe why you feel stuck as a content creator or an influencer. And I think that concludes our meeting for the week. Now we have to get into our next segment, which is what needs to come across your desk, because I'm going to give you some content ideas for the week. So let's get into that. Okay, let's get into it. What needs to come across your desk in the world of social media and content creation this week? So this segment has two parts. Firstly, we do content ideas to fill up your content calendar for the week. And then we also do news and headlines. Anything that I think needs to come across your desk. This week, we have two things that I think is kind of interesting in the world of social and content. No major platform updates this week. So let's just first get into the content ideas. Okay, so you guys know the drill. Every single week in the episode, I pull 3 content ideas and trends from the report that goes live every Sunday in Busy Blooming HQ. So this first content idea is something that I saw the one and only Grace Beverly do. I love Grace Beverly. Her entire vibe, I just am obsessed with. She did this content idea, and I actually posted this yesterday on Instagram, and it already has 14,000 views. So it's killing it on Instagram. So this content idea is, without saying your job title, list some phrases that you use daily. So the format of this, it's a carousel, it's 2 slides. You can use any song you want. I used a Taylor Swift song, of course. If you listen to last week's episode, you'll know why. The first slide is a picture of you, text on screen with, and I put this in quotes, without saying your job title, say some phrases you use every day. And then the next slide, I just use the exact same picture, and then I put little text on screen of phrases that I use every single day as a podcaster. The post that I did was more inward focused, more influencer coded, you could even say, but I do think you could make this more savable and repostable than I did. So for example, I would actually say, and I haven't seen this, Without saying your 2025 goal, say some phrases you use every day. And so let's say you have a goal of getting your dream body, saving $10,000, becoming a full-time content creator. Like having some relatable phrases on the screen, I think will really get people in the comments reposting, saving, sharing because they relate to it. So there's really two approaches you can have with this: inward focus, outward focus. You could even say content creator approach versus influencer approach. Let's say you're a coach and you have clients. You could say on the first slide, without saying who you coach, say phrases you use every day. And then the text on screen would be, what's your why? Do you feel out of alignment? How does it make you feel? Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many different ways you could do this, focusing on a goal, your job title, a hobby, what you do. And you could either make this more inward focus, outward focus, but Grace Beverly's example I think is so good. Easy carousel for the week. I love throwing a carousel into the content ideas. I always make my carousels in Instagram stories. It takes 2 seconds. It's so easy. Okay, the next content idea for the week, I love this, I'm definitely gonna do this week, is doing a timestamp vlog story time edition. So the format of this is doing a 60-second vlog style video. You could either do a timestamp day in your life, like if it's relevant to your brand, or you could just have vlog style footage if you want as well. I think it's kind of nice to have a timestamp day in your life so people can follow what the visuals on the screen is, kind of telling a story. But the key with this is doing a crazy story time underneath the vlog that relates to your brand. This is such a simple format of a video, but I just feel like it's such an easy win. So for example, let's say you're a Pilates instructor. Clearly I've been getting to Pilates lately. So you would have the day in your life as a Pilates instructor, but the voiceover would just be a story time about a crazy class that you had where something insane happened at your class. Let's say for me, I could do a vlog of a day in my life, timestamp podcasting, work on HQ, whatever it is, but the voiceover is about when I got scammed for a fake brand deal or something that hasn't happened, but you know what I mean. Or a really bad client experience you've had, or a bad work experience. If you're a makeup artist, like a fail that you had on a wedding day or something. The hook, you would just get right into it as well. You wouldn't say, today I'm going to tell you a story about this. You would just hook people immediately with the voiceover saying, this one time I had a client who did X, Y, and Z. The hook could be, I never thought I would tell anybody this, but one time, just such an easy idea for the week. Vlog your day or vlog a part of your day, like vlog your morning. Voiceover, crazy story time, get right into it. The key here is that obviously it relates to your brand and the topics, but just like a really easy piece of content for the week. Okay, and then the last content idea for the week is something I've been seeing trending a little bit. In terms of trends this week, there was not a lot trending that I would personally recommend for the busy blooming office, but I love this one. This is another carousel. So this is latest Pinterest saves is a girl/guy who loves blank. So you could either do this as Pinterest saves, which I've been seeing a ton, or you could do latest photos in my camera roll. So this would be about like 6 or 7 pictures. I love Pinterest, so you could also do a version of this, which I've done in the past that did amazing. I think this has like 100,000 views on Instagram, which is Mel Robbins quotes that I love as an entrepreneur in my 20s. And then the carousel was screenshots of Pinterest Mel Robbins quotes. So the whole concept of this is a very easy win of 6 or 7 photos of either Pinterest saves, photos in your camera roll, or quotes of somebody surrounding your goal or something you love or what you're doing. So you could be like, as an entrepreneur in your 20s, as somebody who's trying to be a full-time content creator, as somebody who's trying to save $10,000, as somebody who's a shopaholic, as a stylist, as a fitness coach. But it's either Pinterest saves, quotes, or photos in your camera roll. And it's just like really fun to look through and such a simple, easy idea for the week. And I love that. We love easy content over here because we're all busy blooming. Okay, so those are the 3 content ideas for the week. There are 10 ideas in Busy Blooming HQ. Also, there's over 100 ideas. I think we're getting close to 200 ideas in HQ that you get access to whenever you join. So go check it out. I'll link it down below. And now let's get into other things that need to come across your desk, which are news and headlines. And of course, we need to talk about Instagram Rings. So this week, Instagram is introducing Instagram Rings, a new award celebrating creativity. Rings are a new award from Instagram that's all about celebrating those who aren't afraid to take creative chances and do it their way. There are a panel of judges, including people like MKBHD, Adam Mosseri, obviously the CEO of Instagram, Ilona Maher, and those people get to nominate their favorite creators, and then they vote for who thinks deserves a spot on the final list. So ultimately, this is like an award program for Instagram, and so the winners receive a physical ring and a digital ring on their Instagram story. I have to say, okay? Instagram, as much as I love Instagram, I worked with Instagram for a whole year last year. I love them. I do have to say, sometimes they embody the idea of launching things that nobody asked for. I feel like one way that YouTube just wins overall is with the YouTube 100K plaque. I think that YouTube plaque is genius. They recently made the plaques like super small, which I know a lot of people are like hating on that, but who cares? Like, it's still so cool to have a YouTube plaque. And again, you can put in your purse. Like, what's in my purse is my YouTube plaque. You can carry it around with you. But I feel like it would be so much more effective to have a 100K plaque on Instagram or some sort of physical thing that they send creators. I'm sure it is the biggest headache for YouTube to have so many people that have 100K. But what I think it does is it makes YouTube really honor their creators, and it makes people more excited to grow on YouTube because it has that plaque that everyone has on their Pinterest board. And so what I think they should have done instead is some sort of creator award, even if it was for 1 million followers, that's similar to YouTube. To have like some sort of little plaque or something, I think that would have been so much cooler than having a few people. They didn't say how many winners they would be, but having a few people that have like a gold ring around their Instagram story and then a physical ring, or even introduce a program where you get a digital ring around your Instagram story depending on your follower count. Like, I think it's so cool to have milestones for creators like YouTube does have, the 100K plaque, the million plaque. Like, even if it was digital, like you get a different color of Instagram story ring, I think that would have been more effective, because I think this is, again, one of those things where it's like that Trisha Paytas sound like, oh, okay, cool, Instagram ring. But I've never seen anything like this. Instagram, I do have to say, it does launch things like that no one has ever really done before. So I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, like, love this. Who asked for this? I'm not sure. It's kind of giving Instagram Maps energy, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. We will see, but just thought you should know about that. Okay, and the next thing that needs to come across your desk this week is that Meta is introducing Vibes, a new way to discover and create AI videos. Speaking of AI videos, is anybody else seeing the Jake Paul AI videos? They are sending me the one of him in the Tooth Fairy outfit and the one of him floating. It's my favorite thing going on social media right now. Is it terrifying that there is AI content that an actual AI made, and that's what we're consuming on social media? Absolutely. But let's get into this Meta feed, because I think this is actually kind of interesting. So 2 weeks ago, Meta rolled out a new iteration of the Meta AI app, including an early preview of Vibes, where you can create and share short form AI generated videos. So this is actually basically what I think is going to be a social media app that is just AI content. So you can bring, the whole idea of it is you can bring your ideas to life with a new AI visual creation tools, or remix an existing video by adding music like AI music, or changing the style to make your own. So AI content is exploding faster than we could even comprehend, I think, on social media. I actually recently saw Gary Vee, who I think Gary Vee has a crystal ball that he is hiding, because his prediction of the future of social media is kind of scary. Like, I swear he has a time machine. But you can see him even back in 2007, like calling out exactly how social media works right now. And he was saying that he predicts that in the future, everybody will have an AI. So I would host this Busy Blooming podcast like with an AI person, and everyone's going to have this intellectual property of their AI. One thing about me, you guys probably know this, and you can totally disagree with me on this, I am very interested in AI. Like, I just think as creators, as founders, as entrepreneurs, regardless of if we are happy about it or not, it is so important to understand it, be on the pulse, and not even use it, but just know how people are using it. And especially when it relates to the industry that we're in of social and content. Alex Hormozi, for example, he's a creator. I don't really follow a lot of his stuff, but I know he's a huge entrepreneur and creates content for entrepreneurs. So much of his content isn't even him. It's AI. I do think eventually there will be, pretty quickly, honestly, AI content creators, lifestyle creators. We're even seeing, I think her name was Tilly, the AI that's in the movie and filmmaking world, which is like an AI actress. She looks so real. Even the Jake Paul thing, like, as funny as it is, as much as I love it, it's really crazy that those videos aren't real. They look so real. And now with Meta coming out with Vibes, which is basically an AI social media platform where everything you consume will just be with AI. I made an episode a few weeks ago about how to AI proof your social media strategy and really focus on being a personal brand and not giving out these like ChatGPT ChatGPT coded content. Like, it is so important to make sure your content is not sounding like AI or ChatGPT, because so quickly advice from ChatGPT or Gemini is going to be better than the ones that we can give. So really, AI proofing your content strategy is so key. I do a video from a few weeks ago about a step-by-step of how to do it, in my opinion, but I just think it's so important to know as creators, as people who post on social, that this is going on and it's happening. I think it's a sign that content in social can be such a solid career and job if you AI proof your content strategy. AI is coming for every industry, and even social media and content creators and influencers. So because of that, we've got to really focus on AI proofing our strategy. Okay, so I think that's everything for work today. I feel like we've covered a lot. I hope you're doing well, by the way. If you're watching this in real time, it is messy October. That is our vibe right now. We are just posting less. It's fall. Our vibe for fall is the winner takes it all, being messily consistent, which was all about last week's episode, is how to be messily consistent. Think less, post more. That is the vibe I'm trying to be in so hard right now as well. Specifically on my Instagram, I'm trying to get more into my influencer era on Instagram, which I chatted about last week. Exactly what we're talking about today. I've switched up my content strategy a little bit. So on my personal Instagram, I want to do more influencer content and stop giving content tips and advice on my personal Instagram. Keep all that on Busy Blooming's Instagram, and this obviously on YouTube and this podcast, and then have all the behind the scenes, my journey, what I'm learning, growing Busy Blooming, kind of like, again, have like the spotlight on me, I guess, talking about social media and entrepreneurship and content, which I haven't done in years. But with all that being said, I'm trying to also with you embody this, like, post more, think less, be consistent, post content that might flop just to get something up and post. Again, nothing random. It's all cohesive and aligns. So just know I'm right there with you. It's messy October. It's the winner takes it all season. It's messy consistency, thinking less, posting more. And I had so much fun at work with you together today. I'm not going to do an after hours today because today's episode was kind of long and I like to keep them as close to 30 minutes as possible. But I hope you're doing well, and I will see you next Monday to clock in and go to work. If you're in Canada, happy Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful for all of you. And if you're in HQ, I'll see you in HQ on Thursday for a live session. And thank you all so much for being here and coming to work with me today. And I'll see you on Monday. Okay, bye.